Here is Impact's Rumble. At the time of this video, it has 78% win rate in top 40 challenger. Here's Cody, a wonder kid from Latin America who got autofilled to the top lane. As you can see, Impact is down by 3 levels in 4 minutes. Let's find out and teach you the best techniques that you can use to convert a small lead into winning the game before even hitting level 6. Oh, and don't worry if you don't play either of these champions, our guides are engineered to ensure that everyone can use the general information to start climbing fast in their solo queue games. So how does Cody win this hard? Before we get into the gameplay, let's quickly break down the matchup so we know what to expect going into it. Pantheon is a melee fighter and Rumble is an AP bruiser. Pretty much everything that we're about to talk about can be directly compared to any range versus melee matchups, such as Vladimir vs Camille, Urgot vs Aatrox, etc. Rumble's game plan is to use his wave clear advantage with AoE range spells to slow push waves, using these push windows to harass Pantheon as he goes for last hits, or acquire vision should he need to. Pantheon should concede priority as the melee champion and accept that he will get shoved in. He will look for advantages just like any melee versus ranged champion. Try to preserve health and look for all-in windows once his tower thins out the slow push that eventually hits his tower, and also look to set up ganks. Most range versus melee matchups play out like this, but there are always adaptations that you can make and mistakes to exploit, which we're about to see to the extreme, so let's get into it. As the lane starts, not much is happening besides both players looking to grab their first last hits of the lane. With the previous game plans in mind, Rumble pushing, Pantheon conceding, let's play out the next few moments to see how Cody's brilliance turns this traditional game plan upside down. Alright, to the untrained eye, this looks like Impact is just making a mistake by moving too far forward and losing half of his health. However, this mistake was completely forced by Cody's unexpected mind game that he just played in that brush. First, Cody timed his last hit with his Q harass to get a bit of damage off at the same time. This is nice and something you should always try to do yourself. Impact was waiting for this and wanted to use his range lead to punish Cody. However, by stepping ever so slightly into this brush, it totally threw off Impact's spacing. When people walk into the brush, they always move further inside than Cody just did. So by being out of vision for just a moment, Impact moved too far forward, assuming Cody would move further inside. Cody's immediate turnaround, alongside Corrupting Potion, allowed him to get a bunch of damage onto the Rumble, and that's totally changed the way that this lane will now play out. So how does this opening moment affect Cody's game plan? Well, like this. Cody is clearly in a position where he can snowball his advantage and actually poke Impact out of the lane, instead of getting helplessly pushed in. But why is this possible? There are 2 main reasons. One that we've just covered, Cody's super smart play opened up this huge window to snowball. Second is itemization and rune choices. These can play a huge part in what your game plan should be in lane, and can easily change both how matchups should be played out and how hard you can snowball a small advantage. Let us explain by quickly talking about the Doran's lineup. There's Doran's Ring, Blade and Shield. Rumble has 2 choices here, Ring or Shield. Impact chose Doran's Ring this game, which gives him higher rewards and punishes him more if he messes up. With the Ring, he has more AP so he can push faster and get more damage off if he plays well. But if he gets chunked out and poked like this, he has much less sustain than the Corrupting Pot Biscuit Delivery Pantheon. So in this case, Pantheon has a significant sustain advantage over Rumble. With that lead that he just gained, he can actually snowball much harder than usual because Rumble has no real answer to getting poked out by these spears. Impact will certainly be choosing Doran's Shield next time that he meets Cody. Item checks are absolutely something you will want to build the habit of identifying when you first arrive to lane. What did your opponent buy? As a general rule, if they bought Ring, like in this case, they'll play more aggressively to make use of it. You can do the same as your opponent will be squishier, but you will also take more damage. The matchup becomes more volatile. If they pick Shield, you need to play more defensively in this type of matchup since they'll have more sustain and be able to poke a little bit more slowly but with less counterplay available to you. so you would want to default to the traditional game plan that we discussed at the start of this guide. Anyway, back to the game. After Cody's 5-stack Q, he tries to loop through the brush for a similar play. We actually think he's stat checking to see if he can catch up to Rumble, since Pantheon has tied highest base movement speed in the game. Pretty useless information for most of us, but it's always fun to see the pros know that champion so well. They pick up some last hits and Cody keeps pressing his advantage. Let's see what happens next. Yeah, now we're just feeling bad for Impact. Getting Autofilled sucks, especially if you have to face Cody. Joking aside, to the untrained eye, this may actually look like Impact is on tilt, running straight into Cody. But again, something super subtle happened here, which went in Cody's favor. Impact has a minion lead, which means he has an experience lead. He's about to hit level 2 and Cody knows it. That's why he's backing off even with this huge health lead. Impact knows that Cody has to move up to this caster minion to hit level 2. If he does this, Impact easily walks away. If he doesn't, Cody is still level 1 and Impact walks away. This play is smart, but on a knife's edge from Impact, and he's doing it because he needs to make up some ground in this lane phase that's going horribly wrong for him. But Cody's incredible awareness and a bit of minion luck allows him to identify in the moment that his casters are now hitting that key minion for level 2. So he immediately changes course to run Impact down, hitting level 2 in pursuit and scoring a nice solo kill. Alright, so that was a real deep dive in how to adapt your game plan when you gain a lead and how itemization can change the dynamics of a matchup. But we haven't seen anything yet. Remember at the start of the guide, we said Cody gains a 3-level lead of 4 minutes. That starts now. Both players are level 2, and by the end of this guide, Impact's level will not have changed. Cody starts a freeze which will force Impact's teleport. He then plays dumb and walks into the TP to bait Impact into going for a trade, just to fall into the hands of an eventual gank from Rek'Sai. This is pretty brutal for Impact. He didn't really have any choice but to TP in here and hope the jungler isn't around because of that freeze from Cody. If he doesn't TP, he'll lose around 1.5 waves of minions to the freeze. If he TPs to the tower and tries to play safe at a distance until he sees Rek'Sai on the map, he would likely die to the gank anyway since top lane is just so long. His only real choice, TP in and try to push with his minion lead during the freeze to crash it and then reset so that he can start playing safe. The gamble did not pay off and this lane is truly over. Now let's test your knowledge to see if you know how to snowball like Cody. Should he push the wave into Impact's tower or continue to try and freeze? If you said push, you would be terribly mistaken. Cody can get a way bigger lead here with another freeze. Let us explain exactly how this works, since you definitely want to use this strategy to snowball out of control. The blue wave is still significantly stronger than the remaining red wave. These minions will kill off the remaining red minions and also survive long enough to be reinforced by the upcoming blue wave, giving the blue wave higher numbers than the next red wave. This means that they will slowly kill off the red minions on Pantheon's side of the lane, essentially being frozen while also denying Rumble tons of experience. During this freeze, Pantheon can recall, teleport, buy, all while keeping the lane in the spot any melee champion wants it, far enough from the opposing tower to successfully all in, or land more ganks. As Impact eventually returns to lane, he tries to break this freeze. Cody shows no mercy and deletes him. This move from Impact did neutralize the waves, which is why we're about to see Cody finally push to Impact's tower as he can no longer freeze this. What you're about to see is not safe for work, so this is your chance to look away. Yep, we warned you about that one, and the best part about this last kill is that it was actually totally risk-free. This entire time, Cody still has flash. If Zac was here and intervenes, he flashes away. If Zac doesn't intervene, Impact dies. Again, this is beautifully executed by Cody, and it's safe to say that very few players would execute a lead quite like this, especially against Impact. Baiting Impact into stepping up a little too far forward to gain a health lead, continuing the harass to poke out Impact's potions into an eagle-eyed level up all in. Followed by flawless wave control and decision making after, Impact really never stood a chance after simply clicking one step too far forward at level 1. Alright, that's it for this one. We want to give a big thanks to Law Esports Latin America, who collaborate with us on a series of these guides every year. Check them out if you want to catch these guides in Spanish alongside their other content. Link in the description below. And of course, check out our site at skillcap.com if you're serious about improving. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.